0.33%. Let's see, who are the gainers. You have ONGC. Now the reason is the government has approved oil field amendment. You have BEL, which has received rupees 2,463 crore order from Indian Air Force. Tata Steel is up because of the JP Morgan maintains overweight on Tata Steel. You have SBI, Trent, Bajaj Finserv, Adani Enterprises in the gainers list. While if I were to talk about the losers, you have Shriram Finance, IndusInd Bank, of course, ITC, Bajaj Auto, Apollo Hospitals, M&M. While if I were to talk about the sectorial heat map, let's see what's the barring Nifty Auto, Nifty IT, everything is in green. Yeah, so there you are. You have Nifty Bank, which is up almost 0.5%, while Nifty FMCG is up 0.3%, Nifty Media is up 0.5% again. If I were to talk about broader markets, let's see what's happening with Nifty Mid Cap 150 is up almost 0.4%. Let's see what the gainers there. You have Prestige, you have SAIL, you have Oil India as well. Now the same reason government has approved oil field amendment. You have Star Health, Lloyd Metal, while on the losers, when it comes to Nifty Mid Cap 150, you have PB Fintech, you have HDFC AMC, which is down on back of February mutual fund data. You have APL, Apollo, Bharat Forge as well, which we'll discuss in few minutes. If I were to talk about Nifty Small Cap 250, let's see what Nifty Small Cap 250 is doing. There you go, it's up almost 0.3%. Let's see what the losers there. First, you have DCM Shriram, KC International, Birla Corp, Sapphire Food on the losers list. While on the gainers list, Soumit, you have ITI, Godfrey Phillips, JM Financial, Vijaya Diagnostic and EIL, which are actually gaining on Nifty Small Cap 250.
Right, let's welcome in our guest. On the fundamental side today we have Mahesh Ojha, AVP Research and Business Development from Hensex Securities, and on the technical front we have Kush Bora, founder of kushbora.com. Well, thank you thank you to both the guests for joining us on the show, and let's start in with the first query that we have today. That's the WhatsApp query that we have. It's from Ramanathan and he's from Bangalore, and it's on Birlasoft. He's holding around 500 shares of Birlasoft for more than 2 years. The average price at which he's holding these 500 shares is 358 rupees. He wants to know what is the long-term outlook when it comes to Birlasoft. Mahesh, coming to you first, how are you looking at Birlasoft as a counter? Should he continue to add more shares on this, or continue to hold whatever position he has, or exit this counter?
Good morning, Samit. I think IT is something we are facing some pressure. So from that perspective, some profit booking are advisable. But if you see the stock is downside from in a 1 year horizon that we have seen significant downside. So any upside nearby 420 to 440 level could be an exit advice for the Birlasoft software for near term. And from long-term perspective, if you want to holding more than 1 year, then we can see 525 to 550 level at least.
Right. Kush, and how's Birlasoft looking like on charts?
Hi, Sumit. Not too great. The entire IT pack has been under pressure. I mean, a big name like TCS has gone into oversold territory, so not surprised that some of these small names, or rather, mid-cap names, aren't doing all that great. The only respite that could come about in the Birlasoft is perhaps a dead cat bounce, because the stock's again gone into oversold territories, and this is the second time in the last 7 sessions that has happened. Maybe a dead cat bounce, but on the whole, the weakness could continue for some time.
Right. The next query is coming in from Madhumai from Hyderabad, and it's on PNC Infratech. She has around 140 shares, bought at a price of 450 rupees per share. Currently, if you look at, she's sitting on a loss of nearly 40% on this counter. She wants to know whether should she do a tax harvesting by booking the losses on this counter, and reinvest again in PNC Infratech. Mahesh, coming to you on this one, do you think there is a valid reason for Madhumai to continue to hold when it comes to PNC Infratech, and whether should she go ahead and do this tax harvesting thing before 31st March?
I think tax harvesting is a good idea for PNC Infratech. We are not seeing much more high upside in the stocks. So small upside could become, but I think tax harvesting could be better, and they can switch in other counter where significant fundamentals are strong. So I think they can switch counter in other stocks.
The next query is coming in on Bharat Forge, and that stock is down around 2% in trade today. It's from Paras. He's from Hooghly. He's holding 15 shares of Bharat Forge, bought at a price of 1,332 rupees. Now, before I go to the guest, let's get in Puneet to understand what is the reason behind this 2% downtick in Bharat Forge today.
Thanks for that. So, we're seeing one of the biggest deregulation action coming in from US EPA, which is Environmental Protection Agency, and they basically said that they're reconsidering the pollution rules for cars as well as trucks going forward. Now, this is expected to have a direct impact on forging companies which have had exposure to the US market, and that will be specifically for Bharat Forge as well. Now, what they've said is that they've announced that they're reconsidering the model year 2027 and later on for the new regulations that was set to come in specifically for light duty as well as medium duty vehicles based on the gas emission. So what was expected that new regulations will come in 2027, and before that we were expected to see a pre-buy for most of the trucking segment specifically, which would directly give beneficiaries to the forging companies that are present in that particular space, with Bharat Forge being the biggest one. So with delay of new regulations, there is expectation that the pre-buy will also be affected because of that in 2026, something that the companies have been mentioning over the last 4 to 6 quarters of expectations of a pre-buy in next year. So it will get hampered because of this particular news. Apart from that, we are expecting that the H2 of 2026, where this would have come in, would be impacted. So some commentary for the company will also be very key. Apart from that, I think while much lower than Bharat Forge, but Forging might also be impacted because of that, because they've also been speaking to us at NDTV Profit and talking about this particular news. But overall, it's a negative for both these counters as of today on this particular news of US, delaying its emission standards and norms which are expected to impact the trucking segment.
Right. So, Mahesh, coming to you first on Bharat Forge, do you expect this delay in implementation of the EPA norms would have a big impact on Bharat Forge?
I think it's not a big impact, but I think it's not time to buy. I think it can come further downside 920, 950. And if anyone want to add in lower level, then they should wait for the same. And I think upper side could be kept nearby 1,100 to 1,150 zone. So a little bit cautious on the Bharat Forge, and we can keep in watch list, and further we are keeping watch list for Bharat Forge.
Just Paras to exit this counter, Bharat Forge. He has bought at 1,332.
Near 1,100, 1,150 zone, he can book the sell.
Right. Okay. Right. The next call is our first caller query coming in from Shelja from Hyderabad. Shelja, good morning. Thank you for calling us. You can go ahead and ask your query today.
Thank you for taking the call. I have 20 shares of International Gemological Institute at 506. So I want to know the fundamentals as well as whether is it good to accumulate more. If so, can I accumulate at the current price, or else I have to wait for some dip?
Right. Mahesh, coming to you first. Have you tracked this counter IGI?
I think it's a new listed counter, and if investor want to add further, they can add in a staggered way, because their buying is too much higher. So I think in a staggered way, averaging could become nearby 450 to 480 zone. Then we can see some more upside up to 450 zone. Then they can exit them from the same. So averaging is advisable on these levels.
And Kush, any view on the technical front when it comes to IGI?
It's a fairly recent listing, rather limited data, but from whatever we've got, I mean, the stock hasn't really done all that great. The rebound that we are seeing today also is perhaps from the oversold territory. So I wouldn't really go out and average it just yet.
Right. Thank you, Kush, for that. Let's move on to our other caller, who is Dheeraj from Hyderabad. Hi, Dheeraj. Happy Holi to you, and please go ahead with your query.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Dheeraj from Hyderabad. My query is regarding Senco Gold. I'm holding 1,100 shares of Senco Gold at 360 rupees.
Okay.
Can I hold it for long term, or should I sell it? Or can I add it at current levels? Actually, there is a huge loss of these 1,100 shares. So should I add some more at the current levels and average the share?
And Dheeraj, how long since you're holding this counter, Senco Gold?
Since last 1 month.
Since last 1 month.
The correction happened like in a single day. 20% correction happened like in post the results.
Sure. Mahesh, let me just first come to you. Dheeraj from Hyderabad, he's holding Senco Gold at 368 a piece. He's holding almost 1100 shares, and his question is that should he hold or should he sell this counter considering the fundamentals, and he's sitting on a huge loss.
I think we have seen QIP in Senco Gold earlier also. So after that, we have seen much more downside. So something like stable after that day he can average for the same. But currently stock is in downturn zone, so he should wait further. I think 225 to 240 zone could be a good range for any averaging. But he can hold as companies fundamentally looks good. So I think he can hold further, and losses are too high. So booking losses are not advisable here. And if we want to add further, and then 225 to 240 gen could be a good level for adding in Senco Gold. So he can hold further.
Hold view is coming from Mahesh. Kush, your view, how are the technicals looking for this counter? Is it right time to buy, or you'll advise to sell the Senco Gold?
I think a regular viewer would perhaps know that how against averaging I am for especially these kind of stocks. This is precisely why I am against averaging. First up, the gentleman was thought that he's buying at a good rate because the stock has already seen a high of about 750, 800, and he was buying at half the price. Now, just the fact that the stock price has fallen doesn't really make it a good buy, as is being proven in this case. Even now, I would suggest wait up. My suggestion would be don't average on the way down, average on the way up. Wait for the price of 300, 310 to be taken out, and then you could consider buying some more, because at least from a near-term perspective, you would have some sort of confirmation that perhaps the bottom is in place. At the moment, it's a falling knife. If you look at it from a weekly or a daily setup, the stock very close to oversold territories, but no rebounds. And however, the volumes on the way down are thinning, so perhaps some selling might be coming to an end. So my suggestion, wait out, don't average it just yet. Once the level of 310, 300, 310, that zone is crossed, is when you should consider buying some more, just for a confirmation of a bottom being in place.
Right. The next query is coming in from Barwin from Tamil Nadu. He has around 2,550 shares of Allcargo, bought at an average price of 42.5 rupees. He wants to know what's the outlook when it comes to Allcargo Logistics. Mahesh, your view on Allcargo Logistics?
I think he can hold further. Company is good, and currently we have seen some downside in all the stocks, so this also down. I think he can hold further. Slow and staggered way we can see up to 35, 36 zone at least. After that, but we can review further.
All right. Let's move on. Our other caller is Siva from Andhra Pradesh. Hi, Siva.
Hi.
So, what are your queries? Please go ahead.
I am holding 4,000 shares of IPL.
Okay, Indian Pesticides.
Yes. Shall I hold or book loss?
Okay, so you're at loss, and how long since you've been holding this counter?
More than 2 years.
More than 2 years. Okay. Mahesh, let me come first to you. Siva from Andhra Pradesh is holding Indian Pesticides, 4,000 shares of Indian Pesticides at 430 a piece, and he's at a huge loss. He's asking, should he hold the stock or should he sell it? We all know that the company is going through margin pressure, but they have also given a guidance of 16 to 18% of EBITDA margin in coming years. So your view on the same, should he hold it or should he sell it?
His buying price is too much higher. I don't think that their buying price could come in near term. So I think from current level, we can see up to 175, 180 level in 1 year or 9 to 12 month horizon. But I am not suggesting further new fresh addition on these level. So we have to wait and watch. But if you are holding up to 12 months, we can see 175, 180 level at least.
Right. The next query is coming in from Rahul from Chandigarh. He has around 8 shares of Jio Finance, bought at a price of 108 rupees per share. He wants to know whether is it a right time to buy more for a long term. Mahesh, any views on Jio Finance?
I think Jio has a much more potential for upside, and it's a we can see up to 260, 270 level at least. So if anyone want to add, that they can add on these levels. So a small upside could be come in Jio also. So their buying price is good. I think he can hold further. And if anyone want to buy here, they can add further.
Right, and on technical front, Kush, how's Jio Finance chart looking like? We have seen a sharp fall recently when it comes to Jio Finance.
I would suggest not so bad because this is a double bottom formation in place around the 200 mark. This is the second time that the stock has taken support there and attempting a rebound. With the inclusion in the Nifty, I think some more flows can be expected to come its way. So as long as 200 is held, I think it's not a bad idea to start accumulating Jio at these levels. While momentum on the way up could be a little sluggish, but if you've got a long-term perspective, 12 to 18 months out, then not a bad idea to start accumulating Jio Finance at these levels.
Got it. Well, our next caller is Ram from Chennai. Hi Ram, please go ahead with your query.
Yeah, hi team, very good morning. So my query is regarding, I bought 500 shares of BEL, Bharat Electronics, last week.
Okay.
So it was in loss for last week completely. Now it is on profit of rupees 500 plus, but it is fluctuating now. So can I hold for one more week so it will get high, or what should I do? Can I sell it? So I'm looking for only short term on this.
Okay. Then let me go to Kush for this query. Kush, Ram from Chennai, he's holding BEL, 500 shares of BEL at rupees 283, which he has bought in last week. And his view is short term. He's asking, should he hold or sell? His view is just for a week. So any view on that? And considering, BEL has received almost 2,600 crore order from Indian Air Force also. So your view for a week perspective?
Well, so the momentum seems to be picking up on this one. If you see it on the shorter duration, shorter term charts. But since the view is for a week, my suggestion would be to keep a stop loss in place, and that stop loss actually comes in at 270. If that level is broken, you should exit. Now, along with some of the other peers and with the market stabilizing, this stock too has actually rebounded and is starting to move up. So my suggestion, hold with a stop loss of 270. On the way up, if this momentum continues, I think you could look at targets of 290 being the first one where the 200-day moving average is, and that could act as a bit of resistance. But if that is taken out, I think the next target in place 305. So I would suggest partial booking along the way, first at 290 and then at 305.
The next caller query is from Ajay from Ambala. Ajay जी, आप जाके आप अपने query पूछ सकते हैं call पे.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. मैम, मेरा क्वेश्चन सेलो वर्ल्ड के ऊपर है. मेरे पास 723 पे 300 शेयर्स हैं. आप मुझे बता सकते हैं कि मैं यहाँ पे थोड़े और ले लूँ कि बेच दूँ?
आप कितने समय तक के लिए होल्ड कर सकते हैं सेलो वर्ल्ड को? मैं रह सकता हूँ 3 महीना 6 महीना. मुझे नहीं उसको बेचने का मन कर रहा है. मैं इसलिए पूछ रहा था कि अगर आप बोले तो यहाँ मैं थोड़ा और ले लूँ क्या कि बेच दूँ? मैं एक्चुअली कंफ्यूजन को, ये गिरता ही जा रहा है. ठीक है सर.
ऑल टाइम लो पे है.
ठीक. Kush, I would come to you with this query on Cello World. It's from a Hindi viewer, and he wants to know whether should he add more of Cello World at current prices, given the sharp fall that he has seen. He can continue to hold this counter for the next 6 months.
Sure, so if it's all right, I would prefer to answer this one in Hindi since he's asked the question in Hindi. So अजय जी, देखिए, हमारी सलाह ये रहेगी कि इस स्टॉक को फिलहाल आप थोड़े समय के लिए होल्ड करें. आप बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं कि इसका जो इसकी जो गिरावट है ये काफी लंबे समय से चलती है. ये 1000 के लेवल से अगर आप देखें, स्टॉक ऑलमोस्ट आधा हो चुका है. अब इसमें अगर हम ग्रीन शूट देखें तो 2 पॉइंट है टेक्निकली जो मैं आपको बता सकता हूँ. पहला ये कि ये ओवरसोल्ड टेरिटरीज में जा चुका था ऑन एन RSI और वहां से एक रिबाउंड आ रहा है. दूसरा ये कि अगर आप देखेंगे तो 525 का जो स्तर है, इसको इसने पिछले 5 से 10 दिनों के लिए होल्ड करके रखा है और वहां से एक रिबाउंड अटेम्प्ट हो रहा है. पिछले कुछ दिनों में डाउनसाइड की जो वॉल्यूम थे ये भी थोड़ी कम हो रही हैं. तो हो सकता है कि इस लेवल के आसपास ये स्टॉक एक बेस बनाने की कोशिश करे. अब मैं जानता हूं आपका लॉस काफी है, बट हर पोजीशन पे एक स्टॉप लॉस होनी चाहिए. तो मेरा सुझाव रहेगा कि आप इस पे 515 का एक पोजिशनल स्टॉप लॉस लेके चलें. अगर वो हिट होता है तो कितना भी दुखद क्यों ना हो, आप वो स्टॉप लॉस जरूर बुक कर दें. ऑन द वे अप आप पहले जो लेवल्स देखेंगे रेजिस्टेंस क्रॉस होने के लिए, वो है 580 का, उसके बाद 630. ये लेवल जो है इस पे आप अपनी प्रॉफिट, अपनी जो पोजीशन है इसको पार्शियली हल्का कर सकते हैं. प्रॉफिट तो नहीं होगा बिकॉज ये अभी भी आपके बाइंग प्राइस के नीचे ही होंगी, बट जो लॉस है ये आपका थोड़ा कम होता जाएगा। तो अलोंग द वे जैसे जैसे स्टॉक इन लेवल पे आए 580 630 इन लेवल्स के आसपास आप अपना जो पोजीशन है इसको थोड़ा थोड़ा करके हल्का कर सकते हैं।
Okay. Let's move on to our next WhatsApp query, which is from Satyan. He's asking a combined view. He wants to make a long investment for a long term, and he's asking a combined view with respect to Dabur versus Marico versus Heritage Foods and Godrej Consumer. Pardon me. So, Mahesh, out of all these stocks that I mentioned, which stock will you suggest Satyan to invest in for long term?
I think Godrej Consumer could be preferred in this space. So we will want to go with Godrej Consumer.
Okay, Godrej Consumer.
Right.
Sure.
The next caller query is coming in from Venkatramani from Bangalore. He's okay, Venkatramani, you can go ahead and ask your query.
Good morning. I'm holding GMR Airport at 60 shares at 84 rupees.
Right.
So now I want to know whether to hold, buy more or sell. I can hold it for 2 years.
Right. Mahesh, coming to you with this query on GMR Airports, what would you suggest?
I think he can add further if any downside it is advisable to add in GMR Airport. We can see up to 90-95 level in 1 year horizon, and if his horizon is more than 2 years, any more than upside could become in this stock. So if you want to add, he can add.
Sure. Our next WhatsApp query is from Dinesh from Gurugram. He's asking, he's a long-term investor and he's holding 200 shares of Marksans Pharma at 180 a piece. He wants the fundamental advice. Mahesh, any view on that? Are you tracking this?
No, not much tracking, but parcel booking is advisable on this stock. So I think he can book parcel and rest can be hold.
Got it. Well, please stay on, and it's time for a short break. More stock queries on the other side.
Your car collection is famous.
I was coming out of banker's office. I saw on Mercedes showroom an E-Class. Impulsively I bought that. I was suffering as an investor in this market. I thought we need a better service for investors.
1992 Harshad Mehta hits.
People advise me that okay, if there's a big debt from customers are not paying, it is better you declare yourself bankrupt.
Post-COVID, or when the tech disruption took place, you were one of the first quote-unquote old brokers to transition.
Technology and digitization was never new to me.
How do you see the market fall then?
All negative what can happen in the market is happening. There is an opportunity to enter the market at a good valuation.
Very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Profit conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
A life which is both taking care of your material needs and taking care of your altruistic needs. That will be the true definition of Viksit Bharat.
In my view, we are already out of that slowdown.
For every unloam, you have to have vilom. You can't just keep doing up and up in the trading also. You have to come down. So the correction and healthy correction is a very, very integral part of the market.
The private capital expenditure, from where I sit, I see that private capital expenditure is happening.
Any tariff coming on Indian goods will be passed on to American consumers, and Indian companies will not be affected.
We feel fairly good about the fact that we can compete with various folks.
Actually, instead of Viksit Bharat, we should call it Re-Viksit Bharat.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Profit conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
A life which is both taking care of your material needs and taking care of your altruistic needs. That will be the true definition of Viksit Bharat.
In my view, we are already out of that slowdown.
For every unloam, you have to have vilom. You can't just keep doing up and up in the trading also. You have to come down. So the correction and healthy correction is a very, very integral part of the market.
The private capital expenditure, from where I sit, I see that private capital expenditure is happening.
Any tariff coming on Indian goods will be passed on to American consumers and Indian companies will not be affected.
We feel fairly good about the fact that we can compete with various folks.
Actually, instead of Viksit Bharat, we should call it Re-Viksit Bharat.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit. The next caller query is coming in from Shweta from Hyderabad. Shweta, good morning. Thank you for calling us. You can go ahead and ask your query.
Hi, good morning. My question is regarding Titagarh Railways. I have 114 shares bought at 1752 and I'm having 60% loss in this. So I want to know at what levels I can take an exit and reduce my losses in this. And I would also like to know, whether is there any other opportunity there where I can compensate this loss in any other stock.
Right. And if you are still holding this counter, for how long can you hold it?
I can hold it for more than 6 months to 1 year.
Okay. Kush, coming to you, how's the charts looking like for Titagarh Rail? Any upside potential from current levels?
Well, I mean, the good thing is that, you've got some base formation activity which has started, so the 650 mark is now starting to act as a support. The volumes on the way down are thinning and the momentum indicators have picked up. The problem is that because there isn't now too much of a news flow, from the policy side on some of these names, the momentum action is missing. So I will wait and watch. I will have my stop loss near the 640 mark, just below the recent low that the stock has made. On the way up, I am looking at levels of 770, and once that is taken out, perhaps even an 850 as well. Closer to those levels, as she said, it will be a good idea to start, exiting the stock partially to reduce her losses from the current levels.
Well, our next WhatsApp query is from Venu. He says that he has a IIFL Finance, 815 shares of IIFL Finance with average price of rupees 393. He wants to know whether he should buy more, sell or hold, and he's a long-term investor. Well, Mahesh, your view on that? He's a long-term investor. Can he buy more?
No, buying more is not advisable, but he can hold further. Company is good and company is going through some process changes. So I think stock has potential for upside, but current level is consolidation zone. So I think buying here is not advisable because consolidation could be a more than 3 to 6 months also. So hold for a longer term horizon. Your rate could become.
Right. The next caller query is coming in from Siva from Hyderabad. Siva, good morning. Thank you for calling us. You can go ahead and ask your query.
Good morning, sir. I'm holding Zomato at 237.5, sir. I would like to know about technicals on the chart and this current month it was going to be included in index, right? Nifty. Is it benefit the stock price to go up?
Well, inclusion in Nifty will definitely lead to some inflows as per various experts. But how's the Zomato looking like on charts? Let's get in Kush view on that.
So I think the support zone of 200 is being tested again. The stock did actually move a little higher on the news of the inclusion, but have given way. So my suggestion would be that the recent swing low that the stock had made around the 99, 80, 200 mark. Your stop loss should be just below that. So about 198 is a level where you should place the stop loss. Now, while it does appear that the recent selling that has happened, at least in the last 5-7 sessions, it's been quite staggering. That just might be coming to an end looking at the volume action. But way up, will there be a fast enough momentum? There isn't much to suggest that just yet. So my suggestion: hold it, but with a tight stop loss of 198. If that is taken out, you're better off exiting the stock.
Well, our next WhatsApp query is from Kiwi from Nagaland. Well, this is the first query that we have got from Nagaland, she's a long-term investor and wants to know whether Vishal Mega Mart or ABANS Enterprises, which one is the best share for the long-term investment. Mahesh, your view on that? Is Vishal Mega Mart looking good?
I think Vishal Mega Mart could be buy here and he can hold further. I think Vishal Mega Mart has a much more potential for upside. At least 150 to 160 zone could be come in 1 year horizon if you are holding. So Vishal Mega Mart has a much more potential for upside.
Query is coming in from V. Murli from Bangalore. Murli, you can go ahead and ask your query.
Yeah. With the international crude prices softening, can I buy HPCL at the current market price, considering a dividend yield of around 9% and expansion programs in a big way coming in the next 2 years?
Right, HPCL, yes, definitely it remains in focus given the fact that lower oil prices will aid the marketing margins for the company, and GRMs are also pretty much stable at current levels of around $4 to $4.5 per barrel, and marketing margins are at a multi-quarter high given the fact that crude prices have come off to around $70 per barrel. So keeping all these in focus, Mahesh, how's HPCL looking like?
I think OMC are, well, if you look at fundamental valuation, the OMC are valued very good. I think OMC could be accumulate here, either HPCL, BPCL, IOC. And dividend, if you look at dividend yield, that is also better, and government has promised the more dividend this time. So he can add further on these levels. I think HPCL could touch at least 420 plus level in 1 year horizon.
Got it. Well, our next WhatsApp query is from Bhanu Prakash from Bangalore. He's asking, he has Puravankara, which he has bought at average price of $390 a piece, and he has around 90 shares. His view is for 5 years plus. So let me come to Mahesh. Mahesh, Bhanu has a long-term view. Which are the best levels he's asking to average it down? And then let me go to Kush also after you answer. What are the best levels?
I think I'm not advising for average for Puravankara. If you are looking, I will advise for the exit on higher level. That could be 275 to 90 zone. Either don't know. He can switch in other counter in property. If you look at Godrej Properties, DLF, that has more safety concern. So I think he can exit on a higher level.
And Kush, let me come to you. What are the best levels to average if Bhanu wants to average Puravankara? Or you would advise not to average?
Yeah, yep, that's the latter one, and I wouldn't advise an averaging on this one. The stock's not had that kind of a run to suggest averaging. While yes, the volume on the way up is now starting to look a little attractive, but not enough momentum to say that the worst is over. So the levels to look for are 225 on the downside. That should be your fixed stop loss. If that is taken out, then you should exit Puravankara.
Right. The next query is coming in from Mahalakshmi from Hyderabad. She's holding 2,000 shares of NCC bought at a price of 290. She wants to know whether can she add more shares at current levels. She's a long-term investor. Mahesh, coming to you on NCC. Should she add more shares or continue to hold the 2,000 shares that she has currently?
I think if she want to add further, then she can wait. If any downside near 160 to 175, then they can look for the add further. From current level, hold, wait and watch strategy could be better for NCC. Because their buying is high, on a higher level. So if any downside, if they are getting near 160, 175, then that could be a beneficial for averaging if any downside come. So I think they can wait further.
Got it. Well, next WhatsApp query is from Nidhi from Ambala. She says she has a question on PFC. And she's holding 175 shares of PFC at a rate 530 per piece, and she wants to average out and can hold for 6 to 12 months. Mahesh, what's your view? Because I know Kush's view, but she wants to average out. So can she hold for next 6 to 12 months?
Definitely. Fundamental, if you see PFC REC has much more value, and if your horizon is more than 2 to 5 years, then definitely they can add further dividend yield is much attractive. If you see the technical level, then we can see some more downside from these levels also. But if you look at fundamentals, their books are raising continue. And I think much more potential for upside if your horizon is more than 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. So if anyone want to add, they can add in a staggered way if in any downside.
The next query is coming in from Sasi from Cochin, and it's on Samaan Capital. They hold around 100 shares bought at a price of 183.25 around 2 years back. Okay, Mahesh, for long term, what is the outlook when it comes to Samaan Capital?
I think currently stock is downside down more than from 160 zone to downs continuously. We have seen 109. If anyone want to add in these levels, they can add in staggered way. From 1 year to 12 to 18 months, I can see 150 to 160 level at least. So they can exit out chance on that level. So if anyone want to add on these levels, they can add further.
Okay, our next query is from Raja, who's from Chennai. He has Mazagon Dockyard. He's bought 53 shares at 2,535, and he's asking, should he hold or average it? He can hold it for 2 to 3 years. Mahesh, your view on that?
I think he can book on higher level. I don't think much more valuation. If you see valuation wise, it's a very high PE. So I think if any upside, they should try to exit and they should switch to another counter where low PE could become. So fundamentally, if you see the PE is too much high, so I think they can exit on a higher level.
Right. The next caller query is coming in from Govind Kumar from Hyderabad. Govind, thank you for calling us. You can go ahead and ask your query.
Hi sir, good morning. Good morning to all. Sir, I have an IRFC bought at 2,500 shares at rate of 160 rupees. Can I add some more or else some book losses for tax or vesting?
Okay, Govind, just wanted to know one thing. If you can continue to hold IRFC, for how long can you do that?
I can hold at least 1 to 2 years.
Right. Mahesh, coming to you, what is your long-term view on IRFC?
I think if you want to add in these levels, then 110 to 115 level could be a good range for further addition. I think 140 level could become in near term if you have market stabilization. So adding in lower level is advisable, and 140, 145 level could become in near term if market stabilize. Then they should try to exit from the IRFC. From current perspective, he can hold. If he not want to add, then he can hold further. We can see 140, 145 level. That level could be tried to exit.
Well, our next WhatsApp query is from Vijayanand, who's from Hyderabad. He says that he has bought ABB shares last month at 5,225 and he wants to ask that can he continue to hold the shares or buy more shares of the company? And his view is that as the company's results are much stronger, what level of share price can be seen in the next 6 months? Kush, want to ask you your view. Can you help Vijayanand? He's asking what level of share price can ABB have in next 6 months?
Firstly, kudos to him because he's bought it at a solid price. 5,200 thereabouts is a good price. The recent low of the stock is 4,900. So first thing you should do is keep a stop loss around that level. If that is broken, then the near-term recovery that is underway for this stock and a lot of stocks in this sector, which are seeing some sort of recovery, when these support levels are broken, might see some further downside. So first thing would be on ABB to keep a stop loss at 4,900. The view is hold. Now there are certain signs suggesting that the stock could head higher. From a 6-month perspective, it will not be a bad idea to target 5,450 as first target, and if that is taken out, 5,700 as well. The reason I say that is because the stock actually fallen off a cliff about 8,800 odd levels. It used to be, and from there it's fallen. So the risk reward ratio is quite favorable. But a tight stop loss will ensure that if this current rally fizzles out, then you don't incur too big a loss. So hold with a stop loss of 4,900.
Right. The next caller query is from Arun from Chennai. Arun, good morning. You can go ahead and ask your query. Okay. I guess we have lost the call from Arun, but we can go ahead and ask his query. He's holding around 500 shares bought at a price of 1,034. Okay. Mahesh, should he continue to hold this counter or exit?
I think he should try to exit on higher level. That could be 940, 960 range if any upside could come. Because we have earlier suggestion shows that exit from the stocks, and so stock has a much more downside from higher level. I think if any upside could be in near term 900, that they should try to exit from the stocks.
Got it. Well, our next WhatsApp query is from Durga. She says that she has HDFC, AMC and CDSL, and at what price can she add more? She has a long-term view, but Kush, you have to answer this because Durga has specifically asked your view.
So let me just clear the air. I am not against averaging per se. I'm just saying that there are specific scenarios where you can go and average, and just as a rule of thumb, that scenario is: would you make a fresh investment in that stock as of today or not? Forget what you've held in the past or not, right? If the answer to that question, would I buy that stock afresh right now? If the answer to that is yes, then you should go ahead and buy. Averaging is then just a byproduct. Now, as far as HDFC AMC goes, the stock has attempted a double bottom formation near the 3,600 mark and could perhaps continue to respect that level. So I would suggest that just wait up for some time, because the stock actually falling from the recent recovery mode as well. So if 3,600 is held going forward, then around that mark is where you should go ahead and buy some more. The stock could see some sort of an up move. As far as CDSL goes, it did make a recovery, but the 1,100 support zone is now being violated again. So my suggestion would be to wait upon this. Buy this on the way up. Once you've got a confirmation that 1,130, 1,150 levels are being sustained, that's when you should go ahead and buy, because again, as I said before also, when you buy on the bounce, then you are at least relatively sure that the near-term bottom is in place. So for CDSL, 1,150 would be a good level. For HDFC AMC, if the 3,600 support zone is held, that's when you should go ahead and add some more.
Right. The next query is coming in from Saundarya from Mumbai. She has around 555 shares of LIC Housing Finance. Actually, no, she has 100 shares of LIC Housing Finance bought at a price of 555 rupees. She wants to know the long-term perspective on LIC Housing Finance, and also wants to know whether should she add more shares of LIC Housing Finance at current levels, or will there be some weakness even going forward? Mahesh, how are you looking at LIC Housing Finance? Do you expect some more weakness, and that's when she should buy more and average at lower levels?
I think some more weakness could come in this counter. Then we can add further. I think a 475 to 500 zone could become, that range could be for buying average from from that from their time review. I think stock has potential for upside for up to 625 to 640 zone, but currently it's downturn zone, and we are seeing some more downside could become near 475 at least. So wait for any addition.
Got it. Now shifting to caller, we have Jitendra who's from Hyderabad. Hi Jitendra, how can we help you? Can you hear me? Okay, but let's see what he has to say. He says that he's holding Paradeep Phosphate, 1,250 shares of Paradeep Phosphates at 107 a piece. He wants to know whether he should hold or sell. Mahesh, your view on Paradeep Phosphate?
I think he can hold further, keep stop loss near 78 zone. I think 105 to 110 zone could be coming near term, so he can hold further.
Right. Well, the next query is coming in from Satish, and he's holding JSW Energy, but currently the share prices are down 20% from the levels that he had bought. He wants to know whether should he average at current levels. He can hold the shares for the next 2 years. Mahesh, any view on JSW Energy?
I think fresh addition is not advisable from these levels, but as stock is recovering from lower level, he can hold further.
All right. Well, taking the next WhatsApp query, Dinesh from Gurgaon. First of all, thank you, Dinesh. Appreciate your efforts. And so, what he's saying that he's holding shares of IOC, 1,800 shares of IOC at 154 a piece. He's asking what's the right price to add more pieces? I can hold them for 1 year. Mahesh, any range of right price that you can give to Dinesh? He wants to add more, or rather he wants to average IOC.
118 to 125 zone could be a right price for addition. OMC has a much more value. So if you see forecasting basis, then we are getting nearby 170 to 180 range. So if you are looking for a 1 year horizon, this is the good range, and if any downside near 118 range, so he can add further. We can see up to 170, 180 zone in 1 year horizon.
Right. The next query is coming in from Santosh from Chennai. He's holding Premier Energies 33 shares that have been allotted in the IPO at a price of 450. He wants to know whether should he continue to hold this counter or sell. What are the long-term prospects here, Mahesh?
I think he can exit from the counter.
Right.
Okay. Next WhatsApp query is from Arvind. Now he says he holds Garware Fibers. Now he's holding 10 shares of Garware Fibers at 765 a piece. He's asking, can he hold or sell the stock? Mahesh, your view on that?
I think he can hold further. We can see some more upside on these stocks up to 900, 950 zone. So he can hold further.
Right. The next caller query is coming in from Subhash from Tamil Nadu. Subhash, thank you for calling us. You can go ahead and ask a query.
Sir, good morning. So I'm Subhash from Coimbatore, from Tamil Nadu. So I'm holding a stock called Indigo Paints, around 1,700.
Right. And you intend to hold this for long term?
Probably 1 year, sir, from now.
Okay. Mahesh, any views on Indigo Paints for the next 1 year?
I think he has stocks in the nearby IPO price. So I think he can hold further, but upside is limited. I would like to say that 100 to 250 to 114 range, 1,400 range could be ideally exit range. So he can, if any upside, he should try to exit from the stock and can switch in other stocks.
Got it. Well, next query is WhatsApp query is from Sneha from Tirupati. He has a query on EaseMyTrip, which he's holding at a price of 21, holding 1,000 shares, and he's asking, can he add more share to average it out? And he's a long-term investor for more than 8 years. Mahesh, your view on that? Can he average?
Averaging is not advisable here. He can hold further because we can see some upside from these levels in horizon, but we are seeing some consolidation in lower level. If any broken lower level, then we can see some more downside. But yes, potential for upside up to 16, 17 level at least, so he can hold further.
Right, so time for a rapid fire. Now I request our guests to keep the answers short. Let me start with Aniket. He has bought Motilal Oswal Financial Shares at the rate of 899. 10 shares, should he hold or sell?
It's for me.
Yeah, Mahesh, please go ahead. I'm really sorry for that.
He can hold further.
The next query is from Minu. She wants to know whether is it a right time to invest Wipro. Kush, any view here?
Avoid. Wipros and avoid.
Arvind from Chennai has bought J&K Bank stocks at 112. Fundamental and financials are good. Can he average out, Kush?
No, I don't track this one so closely, so I'm going to figure it apart.
The next query is from Jeevan. He has around 170 shares of Canara Bank. Mahesh, should he continue to hold?
He can hold further.
Well, next query is from Darshu, who is holding 8 shares in Dixon, and he's going to hold it for 5 years. So, can he hold it? Mahesh?
I think he can hold further.
The next query is from Venkat. He is holding Bombay Burma, around 100 shares, bought at a price of 2,135. He can hold for the next 2 years. Mahesh, should he do that?
I think he can hold further.
Next query is from Shravan. Now he is holding JP Power, 8,000 shares with 14 rupees a piece. Can he hold or sell, Kush?
Continue to hold. The stop loss is at 12.
The next query is from Ashok Kumar. He wants to know whether should he continue to hold or sell Spark, that is Sun Pharma Advanced Research.
I think he can hold further.
Well, Yash is asking, can he hold 20 shares of Birlasoft at a price of 296? Can he add more or hold? Mahesh?
Not advisable here. He can exit on higher level.
The next query is from Dikshit from Bangalore. He's holding 100 shares of Tata Motors, bought at a price of 1,009. He wants to know whether should he hold this counter for the next 6 months, Kush.
For 6 months, only for a recovery in the loss that he's making currently. I don't think he'll perhaps turn in a profit. So yes, hold it.
Well, thank you to both the guests for joining in and answering all the viewer queries. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Ask Profit. Stay tuned and keep watching NDTV Profit.
Your car collection is famous.
I was coming out of banker's office. I saw on Mercedes showroom an E-Class. Impulsively I bought that. I was suffering as an investor in this market. I thought we need a better service for investors.
1992 Harshad Mehta hits.
People advise me that okay, if there's a big debt from customers are not paying, it is better you declare yourself bankrupt.
Post-COVID, or when the tech disruption took place, you were one of the first quote-unquote old brokers to transition.
Technology and digitization was never new to me.
How do you see the market fall then?
All negative what can happen in the market is happening. And there is an opportunity to enter the market at a good valuation.
Very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Profit Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
A life which is both taking care of your material needs and taking care of your altruistic needs. That will be the true definition of Viksit Bharat.
In my view, we are already out of that slowdown.
For every unloam, you have to have vilom. You can't just keep doing up and up in the trading also. You have to come down. So the correction and healthy correction is a very, very integral part of the market.
The private capital expenditure, from where I sit, I see that private capital expenditure is happening.
Any tariff coming on Indian goods will be passed on to American consumers and Indian companies will not be affected.
we feel fairly good about the fact that we can compete with various folks.
Actually, instead of Viksit Bharat, we should call it Reviksit Bharat.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.